Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for the third and final demonstration in the recording course module. So we've already talked a lot about microphone techniques and sound design techniques for MIDI instruments and samplers. What we're going to focus on now is editing and arranging. So we've previously worked on a loop project. Now we're going to find out how we can take some loops that we've made with clips and performances and expand that into a full realized song idea. Let's get started. Since we're working with music production in a digital environment, editing audio and MIDI is actually very simple. I wanted to take a look first at editing audio clips. So in this particular case, I have a hi-hat section that is an imported sample audio clip. Let's take a closer look at that. Now I'm going to loop this, and we're just going to hear the hi-hats. Okay, cool. Now, what if I didn't want to have all of this in here? I can literally highlight a clip and trim it just by going over to the edge where my cursor changes to the double-sided arrow. And I can trim these up. Nice. I'll just undo that. Then I can get even more specific with my edits. If I double click on this clip, this is going to take me into a time stretch window. And if we zoom in close, you'll see that every single little bit of audio from this hi-hat performance has been calculated, and I can actually move these around and change things if I like. So let's manipulate this and change how the beat sounds. Okay, now let's listen. So I can make these sort of changes just to make my audio more interesting. It also is useful if in case a vocalist is just slightly off in her timing, you can adjust the vocal performances in this manner. That way, all the vocals line up with the beats perfectly. Back to our sequencer window. A little smaller view. It's also very simple to adjust or edit some of your MIDI performances. Let's take this bass melody for example. When I recorded it, I noticed that some of the notes were off. Let's take a listen. Okay, so you can hear that there was a couple of wrong notes in there. Instead of deleting this clip and then re-recording my performance, I can just double click on the clip itself, which takes me to this piano roll edit window. Now if we listen back, we get a visual representation of the notes that I performed. There was a wrong note, so I can just click on this and raise it to the proper note. And here as well. Similarly, I can extend notes, note lengths, or trim them. And if I highlight more than one, I can extend whole groups. So you can make some very major changes rather simply within this piano roll. Along with pitches and note performances that we can edit and adjust here, we can also edit and adjust velocity. Velocity is a representation of how hard a performer hit the keys on a MIDI keyboard while performing this recording. So if you accidentally brushed up on a key or didn't hit it quite hard enough, you can make those adjustments here. Going back to the main sequencer view, there are several other tool options available to me if I enable the tool window by going up to the control bar window and show tool window. Let's say I wanted to take this bass melody performance and make it higher pitched and raise it an octave. I will select the clip I want to change. I'm going to transpose the pitch by 12, which is an entire octave, and then I'm going to hit apply. Now when I listen back, the performance has been transposed an octave higher. I can also select a clip and randomize notes and apply that function. And now let's listen. The So it really is random. Now that you understand how you can edit your performances, let's go ahead and focus on how we can arrange a loop into a fully realized song. Let's take a listen to the loop I have going with all the instruments involved. Okay, I think I have an idea of how I can turn this into a fully realized song. But first, I think we should go over some of the fundamentals of song structure. Usually, in Western pop music, you have an introduction to a song, along with a verse and a chorus, and then an outro to your song as well. Other common things found in Western music are a bridge section, or possibly an instrument solo. So what we have to do is listen to the individual elements of our loop and decide which ones could make up each element. Usually the chorus is going to be the most memorable and also the loudest part of the song with the most going on. A good rule of thumb to keep in mind is that songs need to grow, so they should start off minimally and then increase in volume and complexity as the song continues. So what I'm going to do is shrink my view a little bit, and I think I want this song just to start with the bass melody. So I'm going to move all these other segments further away in my song. So this bass melody is going to act as my intro. Okay, cool. So where do we go from there? I think it would be nice to start off minimally and just go with some piano next. So again, I'm just going to move some of these other pieces that I'm not going to use quite yet further along, and we'll just build our song as we go. If I want to keep this bass melody going, I can't just drag and drop, but I can hold the Option key and then click and drag and create a duplicate. Now let's listen to what I'm going to call my verse section. I think I could use the kick drum at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that back in. I'm not ready for my synth leads and my bass just yet, but I think it would be nice to now just repeat this section of the verse and include the hi-hats before we move on to the chorus. So I'm going to highlight everything in this section again, and then Option, click and drag. So now I'm just going to listen to the ending of this first section of the verse just to see how it sounds while adding in the cymbals. There, I think that sounds nice. It just keeps the momentum going, adding something new as we get closer to a new section. So in the chorus section, I've got these new elements, which are pretty overwhelming and loud on their own. I just want to make sure that there's still a drum beat to keep the backbone of this song going. So I'm going to Option click the kick drum and the cymbals. And just so it's similar in length, I'm going to duplicate this section once again. Along with Option clicking and dragging, if I want to do a whole section of copy and paste, I just select the clips I want, Command C, and my cursor will automatically move to the end of the clips, and then I can Command V and paste on another section. Now let's zoom out just a little bit so we can get a better glimpse of the entire song at this point. So we've got an intro, a verse section here, and then a chorus section. Now typically in Western pop music, we're going to go, after this chorus finishes, we're going to go back through another verse and another chorus. So I'm going to highlight both of those sections and copy and paste them. Now I've got an intro, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus. Now I just need an outro or some way to get out of the song. I think it might be useful actually just to end how we started. So I'm going to take this bass melody and option click and drag this as our ending. And now I'm going to move my end marker closer to the end of this actual song. Now you can see we've taken an 8-bar loop and actually arranged it into a 2-minute and 30-second fully realized song. Throughout the demonstrations for this recording course module, we've covered microphone techniques, MIDI and sampler or sound design techniques, along with editing and arranging tools to help you take a project from a loop into a fully realized song. Coming up in a future module, we'll be swapping these projects with other students and then performing your own mixing to them, just so you can get a feel for that phase of the music production process. Until then, keep recording and experimenting and having fun. Until next time.